Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ninja Selling Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We have a fun topic today that's all about forward and communication, and I think can be hopefully an eye-opener for people, Garrett, to just kind of get back to, if you haven't been already, focused on the basics of, one, human behavior and connection, and two, things that actually drive incredible results in your business. Before we get into that, the usual, our Facebook group is so freaking awesome. It's amazing. If you're not in it, like, holy cow, there's so many cool people in there doing so many cool things. So go to facebook.com/group/the Ninja Selling Podcast. Check it out. And if you want to learn more about ninja selling, buy the book for one, and two, go to ninjaselling.com and check out all the information there. Good morning, Garrett. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. Doing well. How are you?
I'm great, man. I like your new view in your office. Garrett moved his desk, and so I got to see a new view today, which is fun. But you get to see the normal, boring view of me. So
you have a very nice office. You have a very nice office, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I need to switch it up a little bit. I needed a better view is what I need. This allows my desk to be over by the window a little bit. I get a nice view of the sun coming up right now.
Got that natural light coming in. Right? Yeah, you look great, man.
Thanks, man.
Look like $1 million.
Feel like $1 million.
It's awesome. So let's dive into what we got going on today. There's a lot of love going on here, guys, as you guys know from listeners. And apologies for those of you who don't like the ramble in the beginning, but this is who we are. So you're welcome.
No apology. I'm going to apologize, and then I'm going to pull that one back and be like, that's just who you are. Feel.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Today, we're going to talk about the law of precession, which for those of you who are physics nerds, of which I am not necessarily one, but I love physics. Used to really love it in high school. Tangent. Law of precession states that basically forces will interact at a 90 degree, right? It has to do mostly with spinning objects. For example, the gravitational pull of the Earth on the moon drives the moon to then orbit the Earth at a 90 degree angle to that gravitational pull. Throw a rock in a pond is probably the easiest way to think about it. What's going to happen is the ripples go out at a 90 degree on the surface, whereas the rock goes straight down through the water. But this law also comes to play in our daily lives and how we ask questions when we're involved in conversations about real estate. So like Garrett, we're chatting about a transaction, let's say, right? You and I are going through a deal together and we're talking about it, but then it's like, hey man, how's business? How's the family, right? We just take, boom, 90 degree, which can lead to then a whole treasure trove of information that can lead to more opportunity for business as well. And so I'm excited to dive into this a little bit and help people get back on track with this.
Well, Matt, one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk about this today is because it is fundamentally one of the biggest differences of what makes Ninja work compared to other systems out there. Other systems are, and we all know what I'm talking about when you're like, okay, is there a piece of business here? Nope, no piece of business here. Is there a piece of business here? Nope. Okay, no piece of business here. Is there one over here? Oh, here's one, found one. I'm going to do that piece of business. And it's very much a touch, pull away, touch, pull away, touch, pull away is what we find a lot of systems out there. And you never get the chance to have the law of precession take place. And what happens is with ninjas, when you all of a sudden reach out to somebody and you share that space with them for a little while through forward questions, where a lot of people are like, God, we'd be so much more efficient if we'd left and we went on to go figure out if there's another piece of business over here. That moment of staying and engaging somebody allows the law of precession to happen, where all of a sudden, when you start finding out, what have you been up to? How's your business currently doing right now? Last time we talked, you mentioned to me a friend that it's got something going on. How's that opportunity working out for them? And in that time of really making a strong connection, we open up the doors for this law of precession to take place. And all of a sudden they go, hey, Matt, while I have you here right now, can I ask you a question? Or, hey, I have a friend that I think might really need your help right now with a project they're working on. This law, if you allow it to happen, if you realize that the relationship and the forward questions that you have with this person is allowing this to take place, you can break away from, I talked to this person, I asked forward questions, I didn't get any business, which I have heard so many times as newer ninjas are trying to figure out how Ninja works. When do I talk about business? When do I bring it up? This is where we all go, you don't. Engage them and let this system take place. And Matt, this is what I love. Larry introduced the law of precession to me many, many, many years ago. And at first, I had a hard time figuring out kind of like why and how that was I get it. We go here and we open up more opportunities. But the more and more and more I have been around it, I've watched it happen. Like, it is a fundamental key point of difference that makes Ninja be what it is.
Yeah. And consistency matters too, right? When people are like, well, when do I get to talk about business? Oh, this isn't working. It's like, well, we have to be invested in the consistency of this, because then you get to experience the compounding effect. Interesting. I'm currently reading The Psychology of Money, which was a book that Larry gave us at Guide Camp. I'm a little over halfway through, but one of the chapters talked about consistency with a system and how the best investors, the best thing all came from just doing the same thing over and over again in good times and in bad times, right? And so Ford questions are similar. And I look at the law of precession. We got to keep throwing the rocks in the pond so that we can find which ripples are the ones that are going to lead to more business. If we just do it once, those might be a lot of fun ripples that are all relationship builders, but there's no business there. So we have to throw another rock in, which I equate to the Ford questions. And Larry gave us an example of this too, of how this has worked for him.
And again, he gave his example of like how going and meeting with somebody and having Ford questions led to a chunk of business, which then going and meeting with that person that came out of the original conversation, having more Ford questions, then that's, again, 90 degrees from that one, all of a sudden he's off to go talk with somebody else and go like, okay, I'll go help these people out now with their business. And then all of a sudden through that conversation turns to another one. They're like, hey, we need to have you speak with so-and-so. One of the things I love about real estate is when somebody sits back and they're like, man, it's quiet right now. And I'm like, this is the whole flow fixes everything. It's like, are you out talking with people? Are you out interacting? Because you can take a business from, man, it's a little bit quiet right now, to a day like Larry had. That was one day, if I remember correctly, the story. Like, it was one day moving from appointment to appointment to appointment of opportunity. And all of a sudden he said, what was the number that he shared volume wise?
60 million total volume came off of this. I think that what it was, he was on a listing appointment with an architect for 2 spec homes. And he had simply asked, how's business? And it turned into, well, business is great. We're hiring people. And that turned into, oh, where are they hiring from? Do they have homes? Do they need help finding homes? Which led to helping one there. And then it led to, we need more office space. And then it led to talking to that commercial realtor, selling a floor in a building, buying a building.
He bought a building.
Yeah, he bought a building. And then he recruited the guy too. So like, now what the beauty of this too, he mentioned this was in the early 90s, I think. So pre-email and stuff like that. So there was a lot of encouragement to be in person, to learn about different things. Hey, let's go look at what information you have. And whereas today's age would just fire off an email. Hey, Garrett, send me some information on 123 Main Street, right? Versus having a conversation with you where I get the opportunity to say, hey, how's business, right? Or the way some people are handling listing consults now, which I don't advise, where they're, oh, show me the property. Great, cool. I'll send you a pricing analysis and let me know if it's good, which then misses the whole opportunity to say, hey, how's business? When you take that, you drop that Ford question, you drop the rock in the pond, all of a sudden, the ripples.
Well, so like, and I was just sitting here thinking about an example that I've used in the past, and I'm going to mention Randall O'Dowd here, who's a gentleman that I've coached for many, many, many years. And when Randall was first learning about the systems, we were trying to help him connect with 50 people per week. And he kept telling me, Garrett, the phone is dead. Nobody likes to, interact anymore. We're in a technology area now. Everybody's just moving too quickly to stop and have a conversation. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'm going to prove my point. And I said, do you get coffee in the morning? Where do you go? He said, the same coffee shop right down the street. And I said, great. I said, Randall, go in there, talk with the Batista and figure out, talk to them. Ford questions. How's their day? I said, it's the same person that works. And he goes, same girl every day when I go in. I said, awesome. He goes, Garrett, this is a waste of my time. She's a college student. She's not buying a house. Again, this is the average realtor. Sorry, Randall.
You're no longer average, Randall.
No, not anymore. Because back then, you're looking at that person as, is this a transaction? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? And he was coming back to me and going, this is not worth my time. This is not worth my energy. I need to be going and talking to more prospective people that can buy and sell homes. I said, just do it. So a couple of weeks goes by and I said, hey, how's the coffee shop doing? He goes, I'm going in, I'm asking your Ford questions. He says, I'm learning stuff. I said, great. What have you learned? He goes, well, she's definitely a college student. I know that she likes to camp with her friends. I know. And he starts telling me all this stuff about her. I said, great. And he goes, there's no business here. She's not going to buy a house. Like, can I move on and do something else? I said, no. I said, I want you to keep asking forward questions. Don't stop. Like, this is your opportunity here. And he's like, fine. He goes, I'm going to do it. I said, have you noticed anything different at all? He goes, funny. He goes, she has my coffee and my muffin warmed up and ready for me because she sees me walk in the door when I get in line. I'm like, you turned into a regular in just a couple weeks, man. I'm like, congratulations. Like, you've been getting coffee there forever, and all of a sudden you're a regular. And he's like, well, I guess so. He's like, that's kind of cool. I said, great. Keep doing it. Couple weeks later, he calls me and goes, how did you know? I said, how did I know what? He said, I went in today because I got my coffee and I got my muffin. And she says, hey, can you just hang out for a second? I want to talk to you about something. He's sitting there on the side and she comes over and says, my parents are thinking about moving. I've already told them all about you. Do you think you could help them out? $1 million listing came out of a month and a half of having conversations with the coffee lady. Like, we sometimes overlook the opportunity sitting right in front of us because we're looking for opportunity. We're looking for, is this worth my time to build what I'm trying to do? Because I'm working right now. And when I'm working, I'm supposed to be doing real estate stuff. And letting that go all of a sudden opens up. This is not a like, I got lucky. This is not a random like, oh, Garrett, like it just happened to work in your favor this time. This is how the law of precession works. It's exactly it. And if you're doing this with enough people, there's more business you know what to do with out there.
That's the secret too. You do have to be genuine. And I love that story. I use it all the time in my coaching calls with people too, because it's such a great example of consistency, asking good questions, and being genuine. Now, the one thing that you left out, because people always ask this question, how did she know he was a realtor? Well, because when you ask people questions, they genuinely, particularly if you do it every day for weeks, they'll turn around and be like, well, how's your day? And that's, well, day's great. Going to do some open houses today. Going to go show some property today. Oh, you're a realtor. Yep.
That's how it happened. So Randall back then, and he still is, one of the best open house executors I have ever seen. Like, this guy has open houses hammered out where he's like, if I do an open house, I'm walking away with new business every single time. Part of it is his mindset that he had with open houses. Isn't it funny, Matt, how you find people that are like, open houses are the biggest waste of time? And here you got Randall going like, open houses are the biggest win for me ever. And he approaches it completely different than everybody else. But that coffee person, same way, when he says, what do you got planned for the weekend? She goes, well, what are you doing for the weekend? Oh, I'm doing a couple of open houses. Yeah, I know, and I've got this going on, and I just listed a property across town, and I'm going to go do the drone photography for that. Like, that's what I got going today. People are nice. Everybody out there, when you ask questions to them and you're nice to them, they ask questions back. Try it at the grocery store. I guarantee you're going to be blown away. The person behind the counter, what do you got fun planned for the weekend? And they will say, what do you have fun planned for the weekend? Very rarely will they just like tell you all about their weekend and they're going to be like, well, see you later. Like, they don't do it. It doesn't exist.
You mentioned mindset too. And I think that's a big part of these things too. People will know if this is a good place to have a conversation with you too, right? Because when Larry asked the architect, hey, how's business? He knew that the intention was pure. Just like, hey, I was just curious, just wanted to hear. And so he was open to sharing. If your intention is, I'm going to find the nugget that they're going to tell me something so I can turn it into an opportunity to be like, ooh, you ready to buy and sell a house? They know that and they turn off. And so your intention matters a whole lot in these questions as well.
Do you imagine if I was a realtor, Matt, and every single time I called you, I was like, so how's Jen doing? How's everything going with you guys? All of a sudden, all I'm waiting for in the background is there turmoil?
Ooh, how are you guys going to handle that?
Yeah, like, hey, are you guys doing okay? Like, hey, I'm going to keep in touch with them. I'm going to put them on my warm list. They sound like they're in turmoil. This is what I was looking for. Like, what a horrible energy to be going into, like, looking for these opportunities to happen instead of just engaging them of, hey, how's Jen doing? Oh my gosh, how's work going? She's got that going on. Not looking for the signs of like, is there real estate here? Okay, not here. I'm going to go talk to somebody else, Matt.
It changes the questions you ask too, right? Because you're more open-minded. If you're on a listing appointment for a residential property, let's say. So you're not going for an architect for spec houses, but you're just going to list your house, Garrett. Hey, how's business, right? Totally unrelated to your primary property, but if you start talking about business is great, it's booming, we're expanding, I'm like, oh, great, tell me more about that. That could lead to real estate, right? Because there could be expansion opportunities, new hires, or, business isn't going so great. We're having a tough time. Oh, gosh, is there anything I can do? And this is the key. Tell me more about that, right? You have to let the law of precession expand as well. Otherwise, you cut it off, right? Because most people are like, oh man, that's crazy. Me too. Let me tell you about me, right? And it's like, oh no, you just like dropped the rock in the lake and it started happening, and then you just like put like buoys or those things that keep certain parts of a lake wake free right around that spot and just cut off those ripples.
So let's continue to use you as an example. So you have additions to your family that have recently happened, not too long ago. How old's the youngest right now?
10 months.
10 months. Okay, so 10 months ago, new addition to the family. Not that long ago, Jen got a new position, right? She got a great job.
Yep, 6 months.
By the way, does any of this have any correlation with you selling your home right now, moving to a bigger house, changing things up for yourself, or is that just mere coincidence?
100% all has to do with it. If we didn't have another child, we'd still be in this house. Or, well, we still are in this house, but we won't be for long.
So this is like the interesting thing that I think with, now again, you're direct business, but this is the whole like intention with when you're interacting with somebody. Like there's so many great things as I look at like the relationship and talking with you and checking on how's Jen doing? Like how's the new position going? Like if you're going at that, trying to figure out like, are they doing well enough that they're going to buy another house? Do they need, new baby here? I'm going to stay in flow with them now because they're probably going to need a new place. The intention is so big about what's going to happen about this, because if your intention is really, really, really true, and I am really interested in this new little life form that you brought on the planet, and I'm really interested in Jen's success with her business. What that does is this is where the law of precession then starts to happen. You might buy or sell. You might need help with real estate. You definitely will take my energy and let it flow out into all of your surrounding people. This is where the magic happens. This is where miracles happen, is this law of precession just out the outside of you and your family, where you are going to barbecues, you are talking with people, you are having these great interactions, you are working with others in your industry and your jobs, and you're going to school and your kids' parents that you're meeting and talking to. This is where the law of precession happens, and all of a sudden, your energy or my energy of sitting there having a great conversation with you about Jen and her job and kids and how's your life, all of a sudden spills out. This is where miracles happen. It's that just off to the sides.
Furthering that example, and you already know this because we have these conversations, you and me, but there's a whole lot of more opportunity other than us just selling this house and buying another house. Because if we go down the path of talking about Jen's job and how's that going and everything, well, great news. She just got a new contract. They have the procurement contract set. They're going to be building this new hotel that she's solo designed. And if things continue going smoothly, they're going to want to expand and get office space here in Charleston for her company, where right now she's working out of the home. Oh, really? Okay.
Anybody helping them find that or secure those, that location? I can help you find some of those opportunities around here.
Tell me more about the company, right? Like, oh man, learn a lot more about that. Hey, you guys have probably piled a lot of equity into that house that you're currently in. Are you going to transfer all that over to the new house, or, what are your kind of plans with that? I'm curious. Well, we have architect friends and we're thinking about getting into a whole different area of real estate investing. And we're actually looking for raw land too. So you go down these conversations, there's all of these other opportunities that come about that, okay, maybe they go somewhere, maybe they don't, but tell me more, right? You got to learn these things.
Well, and here's the thing that I think a lot of people kind of find as like stumbling blocks for themselves is like, so you have this great conversation with Jen. You're asking her about like how the new job's going. She's telling you about this new project that's going on. She's mentioning that they're going to be opening up, they're going to need to be moving maybe a corporate office here or whatnot to be able to do this. I think a lot of people go, okay, so I'm a ninja. So I don't talk business. I don't talk business unless they are kind of like asking for my help. But you asking the question of, tell me more about that. Like, what kind of space are they looking for? and being able to go down the point where then you can be of assistance, where you might go home and start looking up like, okay, these are all the things that I learned about what they're looking for and what they need. And you might say, hey, is this what you guys were talking about? I just saw this building come up across town. And they're going, oh my gosh, Garrett, like, that's exactly what we're looking for. Like, where'd you find this? Like, thank you. Like, so much. This is what we needed. You're just solving problems. You're finding pain. You're finding pleasure in people's lives, and you're solving for X. This is where all these crazy opportunities come up.
Yeah. We don't talk about real estate unless they bring it up. A lot of people think of like, well, until they ask for help. But if real estate comes up, right, you can ask a question that leads to that. Not like you're trying to do that. And I think in this, we're being very specific with this example being towards real estate. But you ask a question, if real estate comes up as a topic, you're an expert in real estate. Your life is real estate. That's what you do. So offer the services. Like if somebody's having a heart attack in front of you and you're a doctor, you're not gonna be like, well, I'm going to wait for them to ask for help because I can't help them unless they bring up health, right?
Was that a sign? He raised his hand. Should I jump in yet? It technically didn't ask for help. I'm not going to wait a second. Choking at a restaurant works also. If you see somebody choking, if they're not asking for help.
In today's digital world, where I feel like, particularly when we're looking at comparing who's been thriving over the past year, 2 years, even just a couple months versus those who haven't been business-wise, people who've gotten out of their digital self, right? Just focused on, text messages and all that stuff, but are actually out engaging with people. And that could mean on the phone and Zoom. I'm not saying you got to go to the same coffee shop every single day, but when you engage with people, you're looking for just, hey, how can I engage and just learn more about this person and have a conversation versus how do I get on to the next thing? So part of this law of precession, a key factor in this is slowing yourself down and being in the present moment.
Think of how many times, Matt, in the last, 3 years now we've been doing this?
The podcast?
Yeah.
3.5.
2019, 3.5 years. Think of how many times we have said the statement, if you slow things down. Like, we have said that so many times, and it's because it is so incredibly important. Just slow things down, ask questions, engage with people. And Matt, there's a big difference. We just went through a marketplace here over the last couple of months, this summer of 2022, where we are watching this group of people that some of them are like, man, I've got more business going on than I know what to do with, where there's a good population of like, this is scary and it's quiet. And I haven't had a period like this in a long time that is this kind of dry. And I don't know what this means, where it's going. I'm starting to get scared. The ones that we are watching, it's not a coincidence. It's not a miracle. The ones that are sitting there going like, I am cranking right now. They're out. They're involved. They're connecting with people. They are applying and understand the law of precession, and they are pulling in business from all over the place. And I'm not saying everybody's sitting back on their laurels and just going, when's the business going to turn back on? But there is an element of, how am I engaging this society around me and the people around me? And the opportunity is there for you right now. I know because we're watching the results happen for people. And when I see enough people that are seeing results, I don't sit back and be like, oh yeah, business is tough right now. It's hard to put deals together, all this kind of stuff. No, if people are making it work, everybody can make it work, but you got to engage.
Yeah, you do. And, to kind of just add one other element here at the end here, these opportunities that come out of the law of precession aren't always business either. Like if you want to enhance your life, enhance your relationships around, like opportunities for just a better lifestyle could be on the other end of asking a really good Ford question. A new best friend could be on the other end of that. A new group that you get involved in for an activity that you like to do, a new snowboarding group, a new running group, a new church group. All of these things can come out of just asking a question, which can change your life. A new opportunity for daycare, right? That actually happened with us. We found our daycare through asking questions to our friends who like, oh yeah, we're at this place. Oh, tell us more about that. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Do you think they have spots available? Well, hey, why don't I introduce you? Okay, cool. And now both of our kids are there and they love it. So the law of precession isn't just for your business, it's for your life. And if you focus on that and think about that and understand how these laws work for your benefit, man, just let the good times roll.
Matt, it's amazing how society works, because all in all, we're all here on this planet to work together. We all bring skill sets to the table. We all have expertises that we can use to work with others around us and help make everybody's life better. And, the Ford questions, for me, it just opens up all those opportunities with all these great people that we have in our world that are all doing their best to try to get the best life they can have and to accomplish their goals that they want to accomplish. And I think the law of precession for me, Matt, and we can probably wrap it on this pretty much, but unless you have anything else you want to add in, but the law of precession allows you to open up those doors to be like, how can I help others have the best life around me? And in turn, it comes back to you also. Everybody at a core wants to help each other out. We all are reciprocal to this.
Yeah.
I just want to encourage everybody, go out there, try this, have fun with it. Do not go out there trying this, going like, I understand the law of precession now, and I'm going to go out there and find business. It's not how it works, but it is about helping people. So, Matt, any other tidbits you want to throw into the arena?
No, man, I think that's the thing. So just want to thank you for the topic and for exploring this, and thank our listeners for joining us as always.
I think this was your topic. Thanks for giving me credit, though. I'll take it.
Take the credit.
I love it. I love it. Feels good. Feels good.
Hey, you can practice this with the people you meet in our Facebook group. Right? If you guys meet another agent in our Facebook group, connect with that person, and you can apply the law of precession right there, right to start. It's interesting. I'll add this then, Garrett, and I'll let you outro us. But whenever I see people connect in like our Facebook group or ninjas that we connect in our ninja coaching world, or ninjas that go to installations together and they get to know each other, all of a sudden there's referrals that happen. It's like, man, I never had a referral for Burbank, California, but I just met somebody from there, and now I do have a referral for there. It's like, so funny how that stuff comes together.
Reticular activating system is a massive, fascinating machine.
Yes, it is. No doubt.
Well, so everybody, we want to say thank you so much as always. We appreciate you joining us. I always love it, Matt, because, I was kind of coming into today kind of going like, I'm not really like set on any kind of topics that we have kind of roaming around in the fishbowl there. I wasn't really locked into anyone. And then just in our discussion, I was like, oh, that's the one. That may have been where it could turn into my topic, as I was like, that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you for helping me always, Matt, find the kind of work through the topics and find the best ones there so we can have a great conversation. I appreciate all of you who are listening. If you want to learn more about ninja selling, go to ninjaselling.com. You have the installations. We have a ton of installations coming up. There are private installations and a lot of public installations that are opening up all the time right now. We've got a great one coming up in Charleston. People might want to go check out. Matt and myself are going to be there. So go check those out. If you want to be involved in our community, go into the Ninja Selling Podcast community on Facebook. You can join us there. And Matt, other than that, another great one, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Bye, sir. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.